There is a situation that makes people want to throw something across the yard. Your central air just quit. Or it is running and running, but blowing warm no matter where you set the dial. Or it shut itself off in the middle of the hottest afternoon of the year for no reason you can see. The first thought, the one everybody has, is the worst one there is. It must be low on gas. It must be the compressor. Here comes a repair bill I cannot afford. Let me stop you right there. Because a whole lot of the time, this exact thing, the warm air, the unit that quit, the system that will not come back on, is not the refrigerant, and it is not the compressor. It is a little safety switch that tripped, or a control board that locked itself out to protect the machine. Nothing is broken. The thing is just sitting there confused, waiting to be told to start over. And there is a reset you can do yourself in about 2 minutes, standing right there next to your own unit that clears it. Now here is the part that is going to get your blood up. A lot of companies will run you $150, $200 just to show up and look, then do this exact reset and hand you a bill closer to $400 like they rebuilt the whole system. My name is Richard Nakamura. I grew up in a Japanese house in Ohio, and I spent 30 years as a repairman. I have walked into more houses than I can count where the whole fix was a switch, and the homeowner was already braced to write a check for a brand new system. So today, I am going to do 3 things for you. First, I will explain in plain English what is actually going on, because once you see it, the reset makes perfect sense. Then I will walk you through the reset itself, 2 different ways, so it works whatever kind of system you have. And at the end, and this is the part that matters most, I will tell you exactly how to know when it is not a reset, when something is genuinely broken, so you do not stand out there flipping the same switch 10 times for nothing. So let me tell you what is really happening inside that system, because this is the whole key to it. Your air conditioner is not a dumb machine anymore. It is full of little safety switches and a control board whose entire job is to shut the thing down the second something looks off, so it does not burn itself up. Most of the time, that is exactly what has happened. The machine is not broken. It protected itself, latched off, and never turned back on. 2 things trip it more than anything else. The first is a power event, a storm, a flicker, a brownout, the power cutting out and coming right back. When that happens, the control board can lock itself out, and a lot of them are built to just sit there a while before they will let the compressor start again. So you end up with a unit that has power, the fan might even be running, but no cold because the board is holding it back on purpose. The second one is water. Your indoor unit makes a surprising amount of water when it runs, and that water drains off through a little pipe. Over a summer, that pipe grows algae and clogs up. Once it clogs, the water backs up in the pan underneath, and sitting in that pan is a little float, a lot like the one in your toilet tank. As the water rises, that float rises with it and trips a switch. That switch shuts the cooling right down, so your ceiling does not end up with a big brown water stain. So now the machine is blowing air but no cold, and it feels broken, when really it is just telling you the drain is full. Neither one of those is a repair. Both of them clear with a reset. Let me tell you the one that has always stuck with me. A man calls me out, dead sure his system is finished. Already got a quote in his hand for a new one. I go down to his air handler, and there is the little float switch, tripped, the drain packed solid with green gunk. I cleared the line, the float dropped back down, and the thing roared right back to cold. 5 minutes, start to finish. He had been ready to spend thousands. That is the whole spirit of how I was raised, a word my mother used all the time, mottainai. You do not throw away a good thing, and you surely do not pay a man to throw it away for you when all it needed was a minute of care. So let me walk you through it. And before you lay a hand on anything, safety comes first. So we are going to cut the power. Method 1 is the water shutoff, the float switch, and it is the fast one. Head to your indoor unit, the air handler, usually tucked in a closet or down in the basement or up in the attic. Running off of it, you will find a white plastic pipe, the condensate drain, and somewhere along that line, a little switch. That is the float switch, and that is what shuts you down. Now go find the other end of that pipe, where it lets the water out, usually outside the house or into a floor drain. Take a wet, dry shop vac, hold the hose right over the end of that pipe, seal around it with your hand or a rag, and run it for a minute or two. It will pull that clog right out, and you will hear the water start to move. Once the pan drains and that float drops back down, the switch resets itself, and your cold air comes back. That right there is the 2-minute job a company will charge you a full service call for. Method 2 is the power reset, the big hammer, and it is the one for when the unit will not come on at all, especially after a storm or an outage. You are going to kill the power in 2 places. There is a breaker in your main panel for the air conditioner. Shut it off. And right next to the outdoor unit, there is a metal box on the wall. The disconnect, pull that one too. Now here is the one spot where I have to be straight with you and correct something a lot of videos get flat wrong. Do not rush this part. Leave it off for a good half hour. That is not me being fussy for no reason. The compressor needs that time for the pressure inside it to settle, and the board needs it to fully forget its locked-out state. Rush it, and you can actually hurt the compressor. And now you have made a real repair out of a free fix. So shut it down, go pour yourself a glass of water, and after 30 minutes, put the disconnect back in. Flip the breaker back on, and let it start fresh. Set the thermostat to cool, and leave it be for a few minutes while the board wakes up and finds its feet. Now the part I promised you, because I do not want you standing out there resetting a real problem 10 times over. Here is how you know to stop and call somebody. The first sign. You flip that breaker back on and it trips again right away, or it trips again a few minutes later. Do not keep resetting it. A breaker that keeps tripping is doing its job, telling you there is a real electrical fault or a compressor pulling far too much current, and that needs a professional. Resetting it over and over is how a repair turns into a fire. The second sign, you do the reset, you get good cold air for a day or two, and then it quits again the very same way. If it keeps coming back, that is not a one-time glitch. That is a real fault, a part on its way out, and it needs proper eyes on it. And the third sign, it is blowing warm out of every single vent with weak airflow and no reset touches it. That one is a different animal altogether. Go check the things from my other video first, your filter and the coil on the outdoor unit, because a choked filter or a filthy coil is its own problem, not a reset. If the system is truly low on refrigerant, that means there is a leak somewhere, and a leak is a real repair, not a switch you can flip. Match the fix to the symptom every time. So let me bring it all home. When your air conditioner quits or blows warm or shuts itself off, before you assume the worst of it, and before you hand anybody $400, remember what is usually really going on. A safety switch tripped, or the board locked itself out, and the machine is just sitting there waiting to be told to start over. Clear the drain, or cut the power and let it rest, and a whole lot of the time you have just fixed it yourself for nothing. Tell me down in the comments what your unit was doing. Warm air, dead silence, shut itself off on its own, and then come back and tell me if the reset brought it back. Because other folks need to hear that it is real. And tell me what you want next, whether that is how to clear a drain line so it never clogs on you again, or how to tell when a part really is worn out. You tell me, and I will make it. My grandmother used to tell me about mottainai. It means nothing good should ever be wasted. Not the thing in your hands, and not the knowing of how to keep it.